You know, one of my favorite things to have for breakfast is a green smoothie. You can pack in so much nutrition in just one drink.
You know, you're so much better at the breakfast than I am. I'm in big trouble. I usually do coffee, and it's interesting to know that I'm part of that 10 to 30% of people that head out the door before work every day without eating breakfast, and it's really super important for your body.
Yeah, that's where our weight management experts come in. Cheryl Lozicki is a registered dietitian with St. Mary's Healthcare and Advantage Health, here with us today to talk about this very subject. And I know we hear it time and time again, Cheryl, breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
It is the most important meal of the day, and you are right. 10 to 30% of us do head out the door without eating breakfast. When we're young children, we regularly eat breakfast foods, but then by the time we reach high school years, 59% of us are skipping breakfast at least 3 days a week, and that's so bad for our mind, body, and our spirit, which we'll talk about. And the statistics is actually greater in young women.
Really?
So that's very challenging as we all try and manage our healthy weights as we get older.
Yeah, so as a dietitian, what are some of the suggestions that you make for people to make it easier to make that breakfast appointment?
Well, breakfast should always include a good protein source. So in here we have scrambled eggs, low-fat cheese, and then some pepper. So it also includes at least 3 out of the 5 food groups. Cheese, a low-fat cheese slice with peanut butter and bagel. Orange juice is always a nice supplement. Here we have a great yogurt parfait, and you can see the portion size is significantly different to what you might buy already made up. So if you're making it, you're controlling the portion of a great bowl of cereal topped off with bananas and fruit and then skim milk. So we're always looking for 3 food groups. One of those should always be protein, because protein takes longer to get absorbed and digested, so it helps you feel fuller throughout the day. And we know at St. Mary's and Advantage Healthcare that managing hunger is one of the most important things to successfully not only losing weight, but keeping the weight off, because hunger is one of the biggest sabotagers for successful weight loss.
Yeah.
And we talk about mind, body, and spirit. For the mind component, eating breakfast has been shown to give people better spatial and cognitive thinking. They have better attention spans, better attendance, whereas breakfast skippers, they may lose track of their thought process throughout the day. From a body standpoint, eating breakfast eaters have a higher vitamin A, C, calcium, riboflavin, iron, zinc, fiber intake, so all of these things.
Are you convinced, Jordan?
I know I'm in trouble, but one of my big concerns is the portions.
Exactly.
That will get you every time.
And just look at these 3 different portion sizes. This was the portion size about 30 years ago. And then, you know, some people choose this portion, but this is significantly higher in calories at 480 compared to 120.
Let's just hold this
and
up
then the
compared,
muffins.
so people can see it. This is the 480 compared to the 120. I mean, that's really significant, and that's what you'll find at a lot of bagel shops and
exactly.
bakeries. Yeah.
And then the muffins, I mean, just those different sizes in muffins. Breakfast is meant to include 3 to 5 out of your food groups.
Comical.
So this is not the only item that you should be eating at breakfast. You should be rounding it out with some fruit and some protein and a beverage of a reasonable portion. So let's talk about different breakfast cereals.
Okay, this is what I had for breakfast this morning.
Perfect.
I had cereal with strawberries and blueberries on top.
That's
Skim
great.
milk. Good thing,
That's
right?
great, because you had 3 food groups.
Okay.
So let's talk about how to pick out a good breakfast cereal, because that's another one of the things that we teach people at the St. Mary's Weight Management programs. I like people to choose a breakfast cereal that has less than 9 grams of sugar in it and more than 3 grams of fiber. So if we look at this Cheerios has 1 gram of sugar and 3 grams of fiber.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yep.
This, unfortunately, is one of my favorite cereals. It's got 9 grams of sugar, and it has 5 grams of fiber.
Okay.
This used to have 14 grams of sugar, but the cereal manufacturers are starting to take down the sugar content.
And that fiber will really help keep your hunger satiated. I'm feeling right now I need that being pregnant to have something really good and hearty in my stomach.
That's true. Now let's just look a little bit at portions because we also talk about portion sizes.
Okay.
So Rachel, if you don't mind, I'd like you to pour yourself a bowl of cereal.
Okay. Oops.
Okay,
Like that.
and then Jordan, I want you to measure out what one portion is, which is 1 cup. And this is something I recommend to people. Every time you open up a new box of cereal, you should always measure out the first serving of each cereal box you open, because that just kind of keeps you honest. Okay, if you don't mind pouring it in the bowl, and let's compare your portion to Rachel's. So you can see these bowls are very deep. It might be hard to distinguish the difference, but always measure out the first pour, because then you can really get an idea of what one serving is. And then
Mine's about a 1.5 serving, isn't it?
Yes.
Compared to what a cup is.
yes, and again, we're trying to eat a variety of food, so not just the cereal. If we top it off with some fruit. Okay, let's look at plate sizes, how those have changed over the years. This is my new plate that I've just bought, and this is my wedding china. So if you look at how it's changed, we have gained easily 2 inches at least of eating space. This has 6 inches of eating space. This has between 8 to 12 inches of eating space. And we can see the same thing with the bowl sizes here. This bowl is very deep, so it's very hard to determine how much you're pouring in, whereas the bowls back in yesteryear were a little bit more flatter, so you could really understand what your portion looked like.
That's almost like a mind thing too, because you fill your plate up, and then I see you have some cups here, and you know, when you're drinking like a latte, maybe, or something a little indulgent, or a hot chocolate, you want to keep that in mind. We've got some information up on our screen where people can get in touch with you to really learn more about these things. I mean, these are things that people, decisions that they're making every day, that they think they're doing good things for their body, talking about portion and selection.
And we really need people to take time out to manage their health and have a healthy breakfast. So often we as women are running around doing stuff for our families and our children that we don't take time out to eat breakfast ourselves. So we need to model the behaviors that we wish to instill in our children, and eating breakfast is a great healthy habit that will help you maintain a healthier weight long term.
Okay, I've learned
So
a lot.
helpful.
For tomorrow's breakfast, I will be starting over here.
Very good.
Thanks, Cheryl. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back.
This is 8 West.